future-proofing your workforce in aged care. Millennials, do you love them? Or are you not quite sure how to work them out? Well, either way, they're the future leaders of our industry, and that future isn't so far away. The question is, are we as an industry ready for this next generation to take over? And unfortunately in aged care it seems we're not. You see, the issue is there's simply not enough staff under the age of 35, that's the Gen Ys, the millennial cohort, in our aged care workforce. In other industries across Australia, millennials make up 42% of the workforce, but in aged care, they only make up 20%. As baby boomers retire from their roles, it's clear to see that this is going to create a huge skills gap. We need to future-proof our industry by building leaders right now, or our industry risks becoming extinct. Every organisation, every business is just one generation away from extinction, and it's only by developing the next generation of employees that we will ensure a future-proof industry. So what do? Simply put, we need to attract younger staff and we need to recognise what they have to offer so that we can get the best out of them. Okay, so how? In this video, I'll start to show you how. We'll cover what really motivates and drives millennials so that you as employers can tune into them and become an employer of choice for the next gen. We'll also cover how best to engage the millennials once you have them on board so that you can keep them and you can develop them into leaders for the future. Now, it's going to require some significant shifts in mindset to make this happen. For instance, we really need to move away from thinking that the person who's been in the team the longest should be the leader, or the one with the best technical or clinical ability should be the leader. Instead, we should really be considering attributes and competencies, leadership capability and potential, alignment and fit. After all, as we see time and time again, fit eats experience for breakfast. If we don't do anything different, our industry will not survive. So think about it like this: don't be a dodo. Do something or die out. The crucial step to seeing the good in anything or anyone is to break down our prejudices and stereotypes. Stereotypes create us and them barriers which disconnect our teams, and that's not helpful. So let's look at some of the stereotypes that we hold on millennials, shall we, before we banish those old stereotypes forever. Do you think of millennials as whiny snowflakes who are scared of hard graft and more obsessed with taking selfies? How about they're entitled? They want a trophy just for showing up. They're lazy, they've got poor work ethic, no loyalty. They're the job hoppers, always on their phones. They've got little respect for authority, they're self-centered, they're needy, have unrealistic expectations. They're impatient and lack focus. The list goes on. But holding these beliefs about millennials makes them pretty tough to manage. So what if we flip it and delve deeper to understand these bizarre millennial creatures and what they have to offer, and start to see their strengths and talents? We know they're tech savvy, that's helpful, certainly into the future. Maybe they're not lazy. They'll work anytime, anywhere. Maybe it's our workplaces that are too rigid to allow for that. They work with purpose and passion. They're creative and innovative. They thrive on change, willing to embrace new ideas, which is useful for our ever-changing aged care industry. They're quick to learn new skills, which makes them flexible and adaptable. They're able to work on a range of tasks. Actually, they prefer this. So maybe they don't lack focus. Maybe they're better at multitasking than any previous generation, and we need to offer them more variety. They also demonstrate heaps of empathy. This is great for aged care because, as we know, the future will bring more artificial intelligence into the workplace to do more menial tasks, which I therefore believe means that the human element of our work becomes even more essential. Us humans are going to be required to be better at being human. So when we look deeper beyond the stereotype, barriers are broken down and we gain a greater understanding and respect for generational differences. And that goes for all generations, of course. We can then play to each other's strengths and bring out the best in each other. Engage in the next gen. So starting with the millennials you already have in your workforce, we need to engage them the best we can to keep them fulfilled and loving what they do, so that they want to go above and beyond in their work and they want to stay. Let's look then at who's really engaged. It might be a surprise to learn that only 11% of the workforce in aged care are considered highly committed, highly engaged. And it's around the same number of people that are considered highly disengaged, the disaffected. Everyone else is somewhere in the middle. So that's a huge amount. That's about 76% of people in the indifferent bracket, and they're really up for grabs. With baby boomers though, they were maybe more likely to stay in their roles for reasons such as security, for instance. But with millennials, we know they're more mobile. They've already earned the reputation of being job hoppers. So if they see a better opportunity elsewhere, they'll take it and they won't feel bad. Why would they? So as employers, we do need to be better. We need to be able to deliver a place where staff want to show up instead of where they have to. Contrary to popular belief, I'm afraid, it ain't all beanbags and video games. Whilst fun, these things are not the magic ingredients to engage millennials at work on a deeper level. The answer lies in being an employer with the wow factor. By adopting the strategies of being a wow factor employer, you will become an employer of choice for emerging generations. The wow factor concept spans across all areas of workforce strategy, from attraction, recruitment, engagement and retention. In this video, we only have time to briefly skim the wow of the wow factor, but this is a really good start, because if all employers in aged care can get the wow right, then our industry stands a much better chance of being a career choice for the next gen. The first W, the why. As Simon Sinek says, start with why. Once pay is competitive and fair, increasing salaries won't directly increase engagement, but being really clear on what the organisation is all about, its reason for existence, its meaning and purpose, that will appeal to millennials on a much deeper level. Millennials want to make a difference. They want to change the world through what they do, and they absolutely can do that, even if it's in a small or local way through their work. Being able to make an impact is so empowering. So make sure that you as employers help them to see how what they do on an individual basis contributes to the overall bigger picture and vision. That's deeply motivating. The second W, the who. This is who makes up the organisation. It's your culture and values. If you're true to these and if you're clear about them, then staff can see how they can align. For millennials, culture and values is even more crucial. Why? Because millennials are delaying traditional life markers like getting married and having children, so the workplace becomes their main social crossroads. They're looking for that connection with people at work, collegial collaboration and a sense of belonging more than ever. How you do things as a company will get staff asking, can I connect to them? And do I belong here? So ask yourselves whether your workplace provides a sense of community and a culture that's inviting and inclusive for the next gen. Your employment brand is what represents your company's personality out there in the marketplace. It's a way of expressing who you are and reflects what it's like to work for you. When used well, your employment brand can really help to attract like-minded staff that are well aligned and who belong. A good one acts like a magnet to attract the right fit people and will also repel the ones that aren't right too. So it's a great tool to get right. It's worth thinking about your marketing in terms of language and imagery, what's used on your website and in job adverts, and ensuring that that really resonates with millennials. The O, opportunities. They come in all shapes and sizes. And because we know that millennials often leave jobs when they feel underused and bored, then it's important to think about the different types of opportunities you can offer. An obvious one is advancement, the traditional promotion route. And with this, it's worth noting that millennials have a higher expectation on their career trajectory because they've spent longer in education than any other generation. But not everyone can be promoted, right? So you can use incremental advances instead. These are smaller, more regular progression increments. Things like ownership of projects, stretch projects, interim or acting roles, champions of new initiatives, they all offer some more autonomy. Development as an opportunity, and this is in the more personal sense. Millennials love personal growth, so a more holistic approach that enables soft skills development. Developing key attributes that are really highly valuable in our industry, like resilience, mindfulness, agility, empathy. So it's not just the technical or clinical skills we can provide training or coaching on. It's worth thinking about whether your organisation offers mentors or coaches that can help with this. Variety is an opportunity. We know millennials don't want to be stuck in a single role, and they serve really well in multiple functions. So could we offer special projects, shadowing, lateral moves, secondments? Then there's the whole debate of pathways. If traditional pathways don't allow us to build a future workforce, then do we need to consider flatter structures and different career pathways? Our current hierarchical structures are so rigid where only a few can really excel. So do we need to get away from the idea of a linear career ladder and move to more of a career lattice where people can acquire wider experiences and explore things that stretch us in different directions? We could then, a bit like Madonna, reinvent ourselves throughout our careers. I also think it's worth considering what brand new positions need to be created in your organisations in line with the evolution of our industry. We really urge employers to adopt the WOW concept as a great place to start because, word of warning, if we fail to provide opportunities for the next gen, then it's reasonable to predict that they may become a threat. 67% of millennials would rather have their own businesses, which could well compete with our organisations as they find a better way. Consider the Uberisation of aged care, for instance. The founders of Uber were young guys who had zero experience of the taxi industry, but the traditional taxi industry didn't want to play ball, and look how that panned out. But here's some reassurance. I believe millennials are just as loyal as previous generations, but it's conditional, and that's the difference. They have higher expectations on their employer in return. They expect to be valued and invested in. But if employers can match millennials' hunger for deeper meaning and purpose and for making a difference, the why, and to feel connected and like they belong, the who, and provide opportunities, which of course they can. In aged care, it's the boom industry now with a huge demand on staff. Then I believe employers will benefit from millennial loyalty. Aged care ticks a lot of boxes for the next gen. So let's future-proof our industry by building leaders for tomorrow. And remember, don't be a dodo.